Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Contour Community Meeting. Today is April 27th, 2021, and we've got a few things that we want to talk about today. The first one is the Contour 1.15 release. Who wants to talk about this one?
Do that one, Steve, since you're going to do the release.
Yeah, sure. We're scheduled for the 1.15 release coming up soon, end of the month, but we are going to hold this one until we get a 0.3 tagged in the Gateway API upstream. And that's planned for, as someone wrote the notes here for me, for tomorrow, I guess. So assuming that comes out on time, then we'll be able to grab that version, and then we'll include that in Contour 1.15. So look for that. The Contour release definitely by the end of the week, this week.
Cool. Is there anything you want to cover in a blog post for the 1.15 release? Didn't do one for 1.14. We do have your Gateway API blog posts that are going out.
Yeah, and I think most of the big things that were in 1.15 are Gateway API related, and then a handful of other things. So I don't know what Steve and Sanjay think, if we need a blog post for anything in there.
I don't know. Would one duplicate what we did for the other one, for the CNCF one?
Yeah, I think we can just copy a piece of it and link to CNCF blog.
Okay. So, yeah, I can author one if you want to have one talk about some of the things and stuff.
Sure, if you want to. Otherwise, we'll just do the Gateway one.
Let's do that one then.
Okay. That's
easier for now. Yeah.
So I'll get that in. I'll just take the existing content and link to the CNCF one. Cool. So 1.15 release scheduled for later this week. You said, Steve?
Yep, that's right.
Okay, awesome. All right. We got some questions here from chat. Let's hear.
Hey guys, awesome. Yeah, so thanks for letting me chime in on this. So I've been looking. I don't know if you want me to drive or if you want to click on it. It's fine.
Yeah, I can share.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I've been keeping an eye on this for a little while now, and I wanted to maybe make sure that I've got a good understanding of what this does and how it's going to work. So I got Kevin on as well. And so what we are trying to do is essentially one of the services that we launches what's called a web view, which essentially is a dynamic UUID that is part of a subdomain. And what we have to do is essentially create a cert that is star.uuid.webview.service, right? It's like a whole thing. And these web views, these UUIDs are generated completely dynamically, right? And we're looking if we could do some sort of wildcard ingress, to that service based on that star.webview. So all UUIDs that are generated by that service would essentially go to that service. And I think we were looking at some different issues where it looked like it wasn't really supported yet, and mainly wanted to see if I could get some feedback on this. And if it's if I see it was merged into main, if that means it's going to be in the 1.15 release, if it's part of the HTTP proxy CRD now, just a couple of things that I think Kevin and I wanted to make sure that we could kind of plan our release based on this PR here. So does that make sense? Is that fair enough?
Yeah, that makes sense. I can speak to this a little bit. So this is only for the Ingress v1 Ingress resource. So Ingress v1, technically v1 beta 1 as well. This is not applied to HTTP proxy at all. And the wildcard URLs that are now allowed are only a single wildcard as the first DNS label of a host name. So star.something.com. That's the only kind of wildcard that's allowed. This is just according to the Ingress v1 spec. We don't have this sort of wildcard behavior allowed on HTTP proxy because it gets I believe the kind of the reasoning around it is because of the delegation and everything around like child HTTP proxies gets a little bit complicated, but we could and having many different HTTP proxies, but yeah, so this is only for Ingress resources right now.
Gotcha. Okay, so we would have to create a Kubernetes ingress, is what you're saying, right? Like
Yeah.
This object. Okay, and is that compatible with HTTP proxies? Essentially, like most of what we could do is HTTP proxy, but for these wildcard virtual hosts, we would need to do an ingress. Is what you're saying?
It's pretty like it's not, doesn't have the range of functionality that HTTP proxy has, but you can do things like, I mean, you can do path matching. But that's like, it's not as flexible as HTTP proxy.
Gotcha. But there's no issue with us deploying some HTTP proxy and some ingress, right, for different services, essentially.
Yeah. So in Ingress, so the way that we process things internally, ingresses are processed first, and then if you have anything that may like override an ingress with an HTTP proxy, those get processed second. Those kind of win because we want to offer the, like, for example, if you're trying to migrate from ingress to HTTP proxy, you can use HTTP proxies and overlay them kind of. So there's that functionality.
Okay. And then is this ever planning on going into HTTP proxy, do you know, or are we always plan on kind of keeping it separate?
I do know that wildcards are supposed to be supported in gateway APIs in the future. I don't know what the plans are for HTTP proxy, if we're going to allow that, but the gateway APIs should allow wildcard hosts as well.
Gotcha. Okay. So in theory, we can just deploy Kubernetes ingress with a wildcard, and then, then it just Contour should pick it up, and then.
Quick. So you said that it only goes to the one subdomain down, right? So I guess you can't have like, you can't do, like if you had a.b.website.com, that would not match to star.website.com, right? But
that's true. That's correct. Yeah.
But could you do star.a.b.website.com?
Yeah. So if you are, yeah, exactly. So star.a.b.com, like c.a.b.com would match, but like d.c.a.b, that does not match.
Right.
And you can only put the star as the first DNS label. You can't have like a.star.com or star.star.com. That will be rejected by the ingress admission controller.
Yeah. And I think that's how certs work too, right? Like I don't think you can create a wildcard cert for like subdomains. I think it has to be like at the same level, right? So okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, cool. Well, we'll test this out on our side. This will be in 1.15.
Yeah, it should be.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll test this out on our side, and I guess reach out on the Slacks with any questions. But thanks. Really, really happy to see this. Thank you for your work on this. Much appreciated.
Cool. Was this the change that required Envoy upgrade before Contour upgrade as well?
Yes. Yeah. So if you are using, if you end up using wildcard host names in ingresses, well, if it's all going to be fine, doesn't matter what order you upgrade. If you don't have any, and then you try to you upgrade Contour first, and then you start creating ingresses with wildcard hosts. But if you happen to create any beforehand, you do need to update your envoys before your Contour, because when wildcard hosts are around, we're using a new Envoy feature that's new in Envoy 1.18. So in order to have your XDS config sent over and not rejected, and everything, you gotta update your envoys first so that the envoys are updated and the new Contour can take advantage of that feature. But if you don't have any wildcard host names in your ingresses before you upgrade, you should be totally fine to upgrade in whatever order.
Gotcha. Is that updated envoy going to be included in the 115 release, or do we need to go into the YAMLs and?
Yeah, that's all in there.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, that's about it. Kevin, if you don't have anything, I think I don't. We'll test it out and provide feedback.
Yeah, no, that's sounds good.
Solid.
And we do have a page on Contour. I think it's up now on the docs site for don't think it's part of docs main config. So if you take a look at this, I'll send it in the chat and also on the doc on the HackMD.
I'm sharing it right now, Sanjay.
Yeah, if you take a look at that, this kind of describes our support for ingress and some of the various fields and things that might be a little tricky or different between different ingress controllers. So yeah, take a look and provide feedback if there's anything that's not clear or anything, and we can get this updated.
Definitely, thanks.
All right. Next up, we have cancel office hours next week.
Yeah, I didn't know if we wanted to do that. I think they're scheduled for next Thursday, but we're gonna have 2 different sessions during KubeCon.
Yeah, we already have other types of office hours scheduled for KubeCon. So yeah, we'll cancel office hours next week. I'm wondering, the community meeting next week does not collide with KubeCon, so we can still have the other community meeting.
Yeah, I believe it's what, Australia time. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That should be fine.
So I just put that in case we wanted to do that, and then also let no folks know that we would do that. And I just posted the KubeCon talks again for next week, and those are Central Eastern, the KubeCon times, the 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock there. So in case folks want to come, I think the project update is the one on Wednesday, which is the one with all of us, and then the other ones are just like office hours for an hour. So yeah, come check us out.
I'll be there. That's the only thing that is in my time zone, so
Yeah,
I'll be definitely.
sounds good. Right. Does anyone have anything else they want to share today? Any questions? All right, then we'll call it. Thank you everyone for joining in today. Have a fantastic rest of the week. See you all next week.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for your work. Really appreciate this project. Have a great one.
Thank you, Chad.
Chat.
Bye.
Later.
Right.